Welcome to this installment of painting Dreadfleet. This is the Flaming Scimitar. So this is the Arabi ship. Some of you might be familiar with some of the Warhammer Fantasy lore that has this race, although you can't actually play them in Warhammer Fantasy. So this is what the ship's going to look like, and it's got a couple of these motifs here. So you got the water guys on the side, you got the fire, and you got wind. And unfortunately, you can't see this sail in there, but it's got all three of them sort of represented there. And yeah, so we got the Flaming Scimitar. So here's all the paints that I used, and just run you through some of the basic stuff here. So Vomit Brown, that's the base coat for the sails. The deck was done with Kemery Brown, as well as some Devlin Mud, and highlighted with Bleached Bone. The wind motif was done with Fortress Grey as a base, watered down Fenris Grey as a wash, and then re-highlighted with Fortress Grey and Skull White. The sides of the hull were done with Hormigaunt Purple, and then Leviathan Purple wash, and highlighted with a combination of the purples here. The water was done in the same way as all the other ones, with a base coat of, actually, Regal Blue, not Mordian, and highlighted with Mordian Enchanted. Oh, actually, you know what? That's not even used. I got the wrong one. Sorry. So base with Regal, then dry brush with Enchanted and Ice Blue, washed with a mix of Badab Black and Thraka, and then the edges of the waves with Skull White. The gold was done with Tin Bits base coat, and then burnished gold. I got that twice in there again. Sorry about that. The flames were base coated with Solar Orange, Macaris Solar Orange. That's one of the foundations. Then washed with Bal Red, and then a mixture of golden yellow and orange were painted on the edges. Sunburst yellow was the final highlight there, and I think that just about covers it. The only other thing was the non-metallic sort of metal look, and that was done with some Reaper paints. That was with the oiled leather, and then the Palomino Gold and Buckskin Pale from the Reaper range. Those would be similar to Snakebite Leather and company. Okay, so started off with a dark brown spray, and you can see I mostly assembled it first, so I'm going to walk my way through there. So Vomit Brown is the base coat on here, and there's the Solar Orange as well as the purple there, and you can see I've done the bases. So kind of do the bases at the same time, so it allows I can let the washes dry in between. And there's that light gray, sort of a bluish gray. And here we go with the tin bits on all the gold areas. So there's not as many colors on this ship as there was on, say, the Heldenhammer or the Bloody Reaver, so it paints up much faster. And I actually painted it at the same time as the Curse of Zendari. So anyways, the base here, so I painted those ores Calthan Brown. I'm going to paint these guys here Kemery Brown, and then highlight them up from there. And you can see some of the white dry brushing on the edges of the waves. Okay, so now I've got that Space Wolves, or the Fenris Grey blue kind of a wash on there, and you can see the Bal Red wash on top of the Solar Orange. And just working our way up here. Okay, so these, that's the Bal Red wash, kind of went around the outsides there, and there's the water, and there's the air, and touched up the edges there with the Vomit Brown, and I'm doing the same thing here. So this is a base coat of Scorched Brown, and same on all of these. Okay, and you can see I'm working up some highlights here. So this is Bleached Bone as well as Vomit Brown mixed there, and painting everything except for these little shaded areas. There's the flaming guy, and as you can see, the highlights there are just working their way up towards the edges. And I'm doing the same with the flame on here, and the wind on this, and these are all the same colors that I used on the other parts like it, so the colors are all exactly the same. Okay, and you can see here just this is a dry fit. It's not actually glued in, but painting these guys on. I didn't originally paint those, so actually I painted the blues at separate points, but it's fine, same colors. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm working up the non-metallic sort of look, and this is the oiled leather from Reaper. And that's going straight over top of the scorched brown from GW. And unfortunately, I didn't take pictures of the intermediate steps there, but I'll walk you around here. So you saw the oiled leather kind of covering this area. All I'm doing is working towards the middle with each successive layer of the non-metallic. And I kind of alternate. So this is light and then down and then up. So I don't know if that's the proper way to do non-metallic, but that's the way I do it. And I think it turns out okay. So you can see that kind of do along the edges a bit more of the lighter colors and try to fade it as much as possible. And the gold there, that was just burnished gold, or actually sorry, shining gold over top of tin bits. And yeah, this is a pretty straightforward model to paint. Unfortunately, you can't see a lot of the work that goes into the sails after it's assembled, but there you have it. And a little bit more close up there, you can see some of these lines here I try to add in just to help accentuate the edges, and you can see some of the detail there. So I find that the non-metallic, at least with this sort of technique, isn't that hard now that I've done it a lot, but it does take a little bit of trial and error to get to that point. And this is going to look pretty cool on the tabletop. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed this painting tutorial, and stay tuned for more Dreadfleet and check out my channel for previous ones. See you next time.